People say success is the best revenge. They're wrong. Success combined with perfect timing, that's the real revenge. I'm Morgan Chen, Senior Software Developer at TechVision Solutions, though these days most people call me that quiet coder in the corner. It wasn't always this way. 3 years ago, I was the rising star of our development team, the go-to person for solving impossible problems. Until the day my so-called work family stabbed me in the back. Another late night, Morgan. I looked up from my monitor to see Jake Harrison leaning against my cubicle wall. Perfect smile in place. Head of product development, office golden boy, and the architect of my downfall. Though I didn't know it then. Just finishing some code refinements, I replied, minimizing my screen. 3 months of work hidden in an instant, my baby, my breakthrough. You should really learn to delegate more, he said, that concerned mentor tone he perfected. Let the team help. We're family here, remember? Family. Right. TechVision loved that word. Plastered it all over their recruitment materials. Join the TechVision family. Where coworkers become family. 25 years of building their corporate culture on that promise. What they didn't mention was that some families are dysfunctional. I'll keep that in mind, I said, gathering my things. It was nearly 9 p.m., and I needed to back up my work before heading home. The USB drive felt heavy in my pocket. Paranoid maybe, but lately something felt off. Little things. Whispered conversations that stopped when I approached. Team members suddenly too busy to review my code. Jake watched me pack up, still smiling. Big plans for the anniversary party next month. 25 years is huge. Everyone's been working on their presentations. My hands stilled. Presentations? Oh, didn't anyone tell you? Each department is showcasing their biggest innovation from the past year, showing the CEO how we're positioning for the future. He checked his watch. Anyway, gotta run. Early meeting tomorrow. I waited until his footsteps faded before pulling up my email. Nothing about presentations. Nothing about showcasing innovations. Strange for a company that usually drowned us in meeting invites and CC'd emails. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something about Jake's visit nagged at me. He never worked late, never stopped by my desk. And that casual mention of presentations. The next morning, I dug deeper, quietly asked around about the anniversary plans. The responses were odd. Hesitant looks, vague answers, people suddenly remembering urgent meetings. Then I overheard Maria and Tom, 2 junior developers on my team, whispering in the break room. Jake says it's practically done. Just needs some tweaking before the presentation. But what about Morgan? Won't she? Jake's handled it. She's not even invited to the party. Too busy with other projects, apparently. My coffee cup froze halfway to my mouth. Not invited. To the company's biggest celebration in years? I hurried back to my desk, hands shaking as I pulled up my project files. Everything looked normal, but 3 keystrokes brought up the access logs. My heart stopped, multiple logins to my development environment. Late nights, weekends, from Jake's credentials. Downloads of my code, my documentation, my research notes. The breakthrough I'd been working on for months. An AI-driven predictive maintenance system that could revolutionize how companies manage their infrastructure, had been accessed, copied, modified. I clicked through more logs, bile rising in my throat. They'd been planning this for weeks, stealing my work piece by piece, modifying just enough to hide the theft. And now they were going to present it as their own at the anniversary party. My first instinct was to storm into Jake's office, confront him with evidence. But years of being the only woman of color in tech spaces had taught me better. They'd be ready for that, would have some explanation about team contributions and building on existing work. No, I needed to be smarter, more strategic. I started with HR, requesting a meeting with Linda Davidson, our HR director. Morgan, what brings you by? Her smile was professional, practiced. I wanted to discuss the anniversary party, I said carefully. I haven't received any information about it. Oh, her smile slipped slightly. Well, with your heavy workload, we thought that I'd want to miss the company's biggest celebration, the chance to meet our CEO in person. She shuffled some papers. It's really more of a strategic planning event. Key project leaders, department heads. And I'm not considered key. Despite leading our most innovative project this year, Linda's eyes wouldn't meet mine. I'm not familiar with the technical details, but I understand Jake's team has produced some exciting developments. Jake's team. My voice was ice. Interesting. I don't recall being part of Jake's team. She tried to backpedal, but I'd heard enough. HR wouldn't help. They never did. That night, I stayed late again. But this time, I wasn't coding. First, I pulled up my personal email, downloading files I'd sent myself months ago. Initial concept documents, early prototype code, development logs. Most importantly, the patent application I'd filed 6 weeks ago before I'd noticed anything suspicious. Next, I accessed our version control system, downloaded complete logs showing the evolution of the code. Every commit, every change, every login. Irrefutable proof of who created what and when. Finally, I composed 2 emails. The first to my lawyer, attaching everything I gathered. The second to Victor Martinez, TechVision's CEO, requesting a meeting during his visit for the anniversary party. Sorry, his assistant replied promptly. Mr. Martinez's schedule is completely full. I smiled. They think they blocked every avenue. They think I was helpless. They think wrong. The next few weeks passed in a blur of preparation. I played my role perfectly, the quiet coder, head down, apparently oblivious to the excitement building around the anniversary celebration. I watched Jake strut around the office, holding mysterious closed-door meetings. I heard snippets of conversation about the presentation, how it would transform the company's future, how Jake's team had achieved the impossible. My team, the developers who'd worked with me for years, avoided my eyes in the hallways. They knew, maybe not everything, but enough to feel guilty. A week before the party, the final blow came. An email from Jake. Morgan, given your current project load, we decided to reduce your responsibilities. Effective immediately, your development access is being restricted to maintenance work only. We appreciate your understanding. They were cutting me off from my own project, trying to hide their tracks. Too late. The anniversary party was scheduled for Saturday night at the Grand Plaza Hotel. A black tie affair, 500 guests, with Victor Martinez himself flying in from California. I wasn't invited, but I had a plan. Friday afternoon, I packed up my desk. Family photos, spare chargers, the little succulent Sarah from accounting had given me last Christmas. If anyone noticed, they probably thought I was finally accepting my demotion. They were wrong about that too. The security guard at the front desk barely glanced up as I left. Just another worker bee heading home for the weekend. He didn't notice the small smile on my face. Didn't realize he was watching the calm before the storm. Because tomorrow night, everything would change. Tomorrow night, justice would be served. And it would be served cold. The Grand Plaza Hotel's ballroom glittered with success and champagne. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I watched TechVision's finest arrive in their formal wear, air-kissing and humble bragging their way inside. The party I wasn't supposed to attend. I smoothed down my midnight blue evening gown and checked my clutch one last time. Inside, my phone, a USB drive, and an envelope containing documents that would change everything. Miss, are you at the TechVision event? The security guard eyed me suspiciously. I smiled, pulling out my employee ID. Morgan Chen, senior developer. There seems to be a mix-up with my invitation, but I'm sure Mr. Martinez is expecting me. The guard checked his list, frowning. I don't see. Oh, there you are. A familiar voice rang out. Morgan, thank goodness you made it. Sarah from accounting hurried over, her red dress a bright splash of color. She grabbed my arm, nodding to the guard. She's with me. Come on, Morgan. You're just in time. Once inside, she squeezed my hand. I saw what they did. Cutting you out of your own project? That's not right. I hadn't expected allies. Maybe I wasn't as alone as I thought. The ballroom was packed. String quartet in one corner, gourmet buffet along one wall, ice sculpture of the company logo slowly melting in the center. 25 years of corporate success on display. Jake held court near the stage, surrounded by admirers. He brought his whole team. Maria, Tom, even junior developers who'd barely touched the project. All dressed up, rehearsing their big moment. Morgan. Linda from HR spotted me, face paling. I don't think you're supposed to. Evening, Linda. I smiled serenely. Lovely party. Looking forward to the presentations. She scurried off, probably to warn Jake. Let her. The room hushed as Victor Martinez took the stage. At 65, our CEO still commanded attention. Silver hair, expensive suit, that mix of authority and charisma that had built TechVision from a garage startup to a tech giant. 25 years, he began. 25 years of innovation, dedication, and family. There was that word again. Family. Tonight, we celebrate not just our past, but our future. Each department will showcase their most groundbreaking achievement. Innovations that will carry us into the next 25 years. Jake's team straightened, preening. Their moment was coming. But first, Martin has continued, I'd like to acknowledge someone special. Someone whose work exemplifies everything TechVision stands for. Jake started moving toward the stage. Morgan Chen, would you join me? The room froze. Jake stopped mid-step. Linda's champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the marble floor. I walked to the stage, calm and collected, just as I'd practiced. 2 months ago, Martinez said, I received an interesting email, a patent application for an AI-driven predictive maintenance system. Revolutionary technology that could transform our industry. Technology developed right here at TechVision. Jake's face had turned an interesting shade of gray. The application was accompanied by extensive documentation, code logs, development histories, proof of concept results. Martinez's smile had an edge now, all showing exactly who created this innovation. I took out my phone, pressed a few buttons. The giant screens around the ballroom lit up with my project dashboard. My code, my documentation, my innovation. Ms. Chen has not only developed groundbreaking technology, Martinez continued, she's protected it properly, filed patents, maintained immaculate records, demonstrated exactly the kind of professionalism and foresight we value. The room was dead silent now, every eye on Jake and his team, who looked like they wanted to disappear. Would anyone like to explain? Martinez's voice turned arctic. Why Ms. Chen wasn't originally included in tonight's presentations? No one moved. Or perhaps, he continued, why someone attempted to access her development environment using stolen credentials. Why her work was copied, modified, and prepared for presentation under another team's name. Jake finally found his voice. Sir, I can explain. It was a collaborative effort. Save it. Martinez cut him off. The logs don't lie, Mr. Harrison, nor do the timestamps, or the access records, or the emails we recovered discussing how to hide the theft. I stepped forward. If I may, Mr. Martinez. He nodded. I'd like to show everyone exactly what my system can do. I plugged in my USB drive. This is the real innovation, not the stripped-down version Jake's team copied. For the next 20 minutes, I demonstrated my creation, the AI that could predict equipment failures before they happened, the interface that made complex data accessible to anyone, the potential cost savings that would revolutionize infrastructure maintenance. The room was spellbound. Even Jake's team watched in awe, seeing for the first time the full scope of what they tried to steal. This technology, Martinez announced, will form the cornerstone of TechVision's next phase. Under Ms. Chen's leadership, we'll be creating a new division dedicated to its development and implementation. He turned to me. That is, if you're still willing to stay with us. I smiled, reaching into my clutch for the envelope. Actually, sir, I have a counter-proposal. Inside were documents from 3 competing tech companies, all offering substantial investments, all wanting my technology, all willing to make me a partner, not just an employee. I've learned some valuable lessons about family recently, I said, voice carrying through the silent room. Real family supports each other, celebrates success together, doesn't steal or sabotage. Martinez's eyes narrowed. He knew what was coming. I'm starting my own company, I announced, with funding from multiple investors. The patents are mine, the technology is mine, and I'm taking it with me. The room erupted in whispers. Jake looked like he might faint. However, I continued, I'm willing to consider a licensing arrangement. If, I emphasize the word, certain changes are made to ensure this kind of theft can't happen again. Martinez didn't hesitate. Name your terms. The next hour was a blur of handshakes, congratulations, and hasty agreements. Jake and his team were escorted out by security, their company access already revoked. Linda from HR submitted her resignation the next morning. Sarah hugged me as I left. You're amazing, you know that? Show them what real success looks like. 3 months later, I sat in my new office, watching the sun set over the city. My company, Chen Innovations, occupied the top floor of a downtown high-rise. The wall behind my desk displayed my patents, now licensed to multiple Fortune 500 companies. A news alert popped up on my phone. TechVision announces major restructuring. New ethics oversight board established. I smiled, remembering Martinez's words from our final negotiation. Sometimes it takes losing something valuable to realize what needs to change. My former team members had scattered to other companies, their reputations tarnished by the scandal. Jake, I heard, had moved to a small startup in Idaho. Sometimes karma handles things perfectly on its own. A knock at my door interrupted my thoughts. My new head of development, a brilliant woman I'd recruited from MIT, poked her head in. Weekly team meeting in 5 minutes. Everyone's excited about the new project. I gathered my things, pausing to straighten the plaque on my wall. Family values. Support, celebrate, succeed together, it read. A reminder of lessons learned the hard way. In the conference room, my real team waited. People chosen for their talent and integrity. People who understood that real success comes from lifting each other up, not tearing others down. All right, I begin. Let's talk about the future. Because that's what real success looks like. Not just proving them wrong, but building something better. Something true. Something like family, the real kind. And as I looked around at my team, my chosen family, I knew I found exactly where I belonged. The code of betrayal had been rewritten. The bugs in the system fixed. The output, something beautiful. Success is sweet, but success on your own terms, surrounded by people who genuinely support you? That's not just revenge. That's justice. And justice, as they say, is best served with a side of success.